Good morning, Rabbi Sai. That guy learned in YU. Dr. Factor went to YU, Rabbi Sai. He went to YU. And if anybody is yeshivish and wants to marry his daughter, you should just know he went to YU. But the YU guys, they know what they're talking about. They got it right. Unless the whole art scroll is YU guys writing it. I don't know. Okay, Kai it is. They win. Kai. I give up. Here's Reb Shimi Leafman once again, having fun in New York City. You ready? Some volume. Here we go.
Here we are live from New York with Prince. Go for it.
Good morning, Rabbi Sa.
You guys are the best, not nuts. Always here's the one and only Yosef Klein in the airport. Now, I did notice something. Rabbi Say, 1 minute. Time out. This is Nisan Gantz taking a video of Yosef Klein in the airport, steiging away. Now, if you look very, very closely, I noticed this. He shuckles together with me also. It's the same shuckle. Watch me, watch him. Now, we'll do it again. Here we go. From the top. Here we go.
Yes, he takes this so seriously.
Hold on.
Like sitting in the airport, stacking away, oblivious to anything. It's the most amazing thing. Look at this. This is real. He doesn't know. He doesn't know filming him. Just sitting here, stacking away.
Okay, Givaldic. Good morning, Reb Eli attaches a photo of myself and my brand new great-grandson. This is like the youngest great-grandfather alive. Grandson to my Stefansky kids. I don't know what that is. He's related to me. Right after his bris, I figured we should get started on his learning immediately. So I did some Daf Yomi with him. We should always share in Simcha, LeZaycher. It's not a joke. The Gemara says that I forgot who it was, but she used to bring the stroller to the Beis HaMedrash. Who? Shami's daughter-in-law to Shubin Karcha? Shubin Levi, something. Akiva Solkowitz, never stop daffing. Never. Here he is with the baby over there. And here we have one more. Good morning, Rabbi Sai, in the most northern airport in the world, Norway, keeping with MDY trend. Eventually, somebody's going to get arrested doing Good Morning, Rabbi Sai. Okay. Here we go.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
He took over the speaker. Okay. And here's our very, very good friend, Avi Mandelbaum. Good morning, Reb Eli and crew attached. Please find the picture my mom snapped of me today. Learning today's daf on Zoom. Here he is without his beard, without hair, after 3 rounds of chemo. Perhaps you can include this in the video of me thanking everyone. I have no idea where that video is. He sent it to me a long time ago. Everyone who learned to dap him from me with a good morning, Rabbi Sai. I've had 3 rounds of chemo so far, and I'm seeing a fading of the Cushing symptoms, Baruch Hashem, which is a great news. Stay tuned. And I was thinking, here's a guy, Kipas Ruga, with a ring on his finger. And Mendel Lerner, Chassid from Borough Park, learned daf of Gemara from him. It's unbelievable. This achtos, what people do for each other, and the MDY family is unbelievable. Gives me a lot of chizuk. We have to start. Okay. Ruvain and Iris Harrison, I'm going to go through some of these big donors. $1,000 a month for the MDY monthly. Daniel Feingold, 100. Jack Grazzi, 100. Yehuda Wyman, 100. Joseph Verdugo, 100. Shmuel Sugar, 500. Sanford Jacoby, 100. Benjamin Shaw, 100. Jacob Gindi, 100. Just 2 more names. Marvin Schnee, 100. Alan Gruen, 100 for the monthly. Rabbi say we raised a very, very nice amount of money. It's going to go to unbelievable causes, including we are hiring Yoshi full-time. It's going to be a big game changer. If anybody wants to donate his entire year's salary, talk to Avi Kamiansky. It'll be a tremendous cause. It's going to take it to the next level. Pasha, take it to the next level. And here we go. The Koil sponsored the Nishmash Chaim Bas Yosef Mesechta and zchus ketora ben Tומכיה כיעקב ויעל lak. The Paras HaShavua, Rabbi Say, new Paras HaShavua, Shlomo Rubinstein, LeZaycher Nishmash Avi Mori, Boruch ben Leib. Paras HaChodesh, Lila Nishmash zchria ben Moshe. Paras HaChodesh, Jeff Rosner, zchus my son Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Chana Refuah Shlaima Amen. Paras HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein. Where is he? Huh? He's in America. He went to. Wow. It's the first time back to Eretz Yisrael in a very long time. How many years? Over 3 years. First time. Wow. Hi, Doc. In memory of my dear departed loved ones, included my recent Yontav yizkors by Eli Hersch, Paras Hayoim, Eli Hersch, Lili Nishmash, Miriam Rochel, Bas Shlomo. Okay, so Rabbi said we're holding on Daf Yomi Amud Aleph, but let's just take it from the Gemara so everything is clear. We'll do it over real quickly. The first words of the Mishnah on Yudches Amud Beis all the way on the top. Stam Nedarim Lahachmer. Zisoid, we said over and over. Shalom Aleichem, come in, Shalom Aleichem. Stam Nedarim Lahachmer. If we have a suffix, what he meant, it could go both ways, we're going to be Machmer. Ask the Gemara about it's something Nazirus Lahakal. Why is Nazirus different than Nedarim? It says in the Mishnah that Nazirus we go Likula. Says the Gemara, or Reb Eliezer, or Reb Elazar. Ha Reb Elazar, ha Rabbanon. Our Mishnah goes according to Rabbanon. We have a machlokes, the Sanya. Ha Magdish Chaysoy Behemtoi. If somebody's Magdish either all of his chayas or all his behemoths, and he has a koi. Where's the koi? Huh?
I guess Mishnah also went to YU.
Yeah, we went through this. We went through this yesterday. Everybody. My Gemara, our school, I said ours, everybody. That's it. Defeated. I get it. I said a lot of yeshivas, including Panovich, was kvi. And today there's still kvi. I'm sure that these yeshiva guys are not gonna, but okay. Huh? So a guy has a koi. A koi is a suffix. Let's say that one of the parents is a goat, the other one is a deer. We don't know, is this animal a domesticated animal or a non-domesticated animal? And he said, all my chayas should be kadosh. Does it include the koi or not? Or he said, all my behemoths should be kadosh. According to the end of the Gemara, Taisa says, he might have even said, all my animals, all my domesticated and non-domesticated animals. Nevertheless, it's still not included in one of those because maybe it's something on its own. He didn't mean that. Okay. Here's the koi. So the halacha is, according to Rabbanon, his suffix is included. Lazar Omer lo higdish zakay. Yeah, but we go to Reb Elazar. Reb Elazar Omer, you see from the Hemshech of the Gemara, it's Reb Elazar. Lazar Omer lo higdish zakay. This suffix is not included. So Mando Amar Mamoini Ma'ayil Esfeika Gufinayim. So the Mando says that if I have a suffix on the koi, I have a suffix. I don't know, did he mean it or not mean it? Yeah, he meant it. He put himself in a position to mean it. So when he has a suffix about his own zeros, his own body, it's also included. Reb Elazar, who says that he doesn't include his koi, okay, this is where we're holding. So Reb Elazar says, a koi is not included. I don't know what he meant. He said behemoth. Did he mean his suffix animal? No, he didn't mean his suffix animal. So he didn't mean his suffix in the zeros. He didn't want to put himself in a bad position either. He's not even going to put his animal in a bad position. So why would he put himself in a bad position when it comes to the zeros? Okay, so we have a shaila. What does a person mean when he says naziros? Does a person mean that even in a questionable state, I want to become a nazir? Or he says, no. If I know 100% certain that I'm a nazir, then I'll become a nazir. I'm not putting myself in any questions. If I have a question, I am not going there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to become a nazir. I don't want to grow my hair and look sloppy for at least a month. And sometimes by mistake I go to Levi and it's 3 months. I don't want to put myself in that position. And it's $1,500 minimum. I have to get a chatas, a oila. It's expensive and I can't drink any wine. If it's 100% certain, great, but not in a suffix. So in that Mishnah itself, it says a suffix. Suffix b'chayres. So you have a suffix and a b'char. Now there's 3 types of b'chayres. We all know, firstborn, Yisrael goes, you have to go do peter, pidyon haben. Pidyon haben, you have to give Kohen 5 slot. What if the mother gave birth to 2, a girl and a boy, and we don't know? That happens all the time with animals. You wake up in the morning, and the cow gave birth, firstborn, but to two animals, a male and a female. We don't know if the male came out first or the female. Could happen also with the behema. Now, if it's the firstborn is a male, it has a kedusha of a bechar. You can't work it, you can't shear it. You have to give it to the shear, meaning you can't give it a haircut. You have to give it to the kohen. The kohen puts it in the mizbeach, shechts it, eats a little bit afterwards. Great. Bein tmeya, bein tahira. What's this tmeya business? So learning a new halacha we haven't learned in a long time. You see on the screen, v'chol peter chamor. If a chamor, who's a behemoth tmeya, has a firstborn, you have to do peter chamor. How do you do it? With a sheep. You give a sheep instead of the donkey. And if you don't do it, you chop off the head. Here's a picture, a real picture of a peter chamor. Here's the chamor standing next to the guy in the white. See all the way to the left? I don't know, it's hard to see the chamor. It's all decorated. And there's a Rebbe holding the sheep. Not light, right?
He's got a lighter one, smaller one, but
yeah. Okay, so that's and if you want, you go on Nedarim Plus and sign up for Petach Hamar. You could be part of this mitzvah because you have to buy, I guess, 2 donkeys, a male and a female, that never had children. Well, the female didn't. And then you wait throughout the whole pregnancy. I don't know how many months that is for a Hamar. According to the Gemara, like 5 months or whatever. I don't know, look it up. 4 or 5. And then, poof, it's a female. You have to start all over again. Buy another female and never had kids. Is a whole process until you get a bchar. You have to make sure 100. This animal never had a kid before. It's all thing. So for 180 shekels, you can become part of it. Nedarim Plus. Vechel b'chayir behema. I'm pumping Nedarim Plus. Vechel b'chayir behema bein tmeya bein ta'ira. Ha'moitzi mechaveir olav araya. At the end of the day, the kohen can't sue the Yisrael for the seh, for the chamor. He can't sue for the baby cow because maybe it was a female that was born first. And he can't come into your house and try to grab 5 selah because maybe you had a girl first and you're not chayiv in pinyan ben, or you had some other suffix, whatever it is, lost the pregnancy, whatever the suffix is. So in terms of the kohen taking money out of your pocket, he can't because but we said Vasurim begiz v'avoda. Now, says over in Mefurish that we are machmer. We are machmer. You're telling me this whole Mishnah about a nazir, it goes according to Reb LeZaycher, and we said the kula goes according to Reb LeZaycher, but that Mishnah itself says a case where we are machmer. How can you say that it goes according to Reb LeZaycher lahakel when that Mishnah itself brings us a case of b'chayros that we are machmer, and we say that you cannot shear its wool and you cannot work this donkey, which we're not sure if he's the firstborn or maybe his sister is the firstborn. All of a sudden we're machmer. Why are we machmer? So the Ran goes into, isn't this the Mishnah itself a stira? You have the Reish and the Sefer. The one part of the Mishnah says to be makel, the other part says to be machmer. Nothing to do with the Reb LeZaycher going according to us. Not. So the Ran goes into that, and he says no, maybe there's a mafmina between mammon and guf. Okay. According to Reb LeZaycher, that when it comes to the guf, you makel. Okay, fine. Ayin chum. Says the Gemara. The Ran goes through a few of those on this Amud. Isn't it a steerim in Eubay without, not related to our sugya? Okay. What's the question, B'chlal? It's not even a good kasha. Why? When we're talking about a nazir, we're talking about what he wanted to do. Did he want to become a nazir or not? We're saying that a human being doesn't want to become a nazir if he's not certain that he's going to be, that it's a real zchus. He doesn't want to become a nazir on a suffix. It has to do with what he wants. When it comes to Bechar, it has nothing to do with anyone. It has to do with a fact. Was this animal born first or not? Whether you know about it or not is not going to help me. This animal either was born first and he's a Bechar and you cannot shear its wool, or he wasn't born first, right? Did the tree fall in the forest? Did it make noise? Yes, it made noise. You just don't know about it. This animal was born first. You just don't know about it. It's a different type of suffix. Over here, we're saying, does this person become a Nazir? Does he want to become a Nazir? It is totally in his das and his ratzon. When he said, I want to become a Nazir, did he say it even in a situation where there's a suffix or not? Don't bring me a raya from a Bukhar, which has nothing to do with the human being. It has to do with the fact. Was this animal born first or not? The Rishonim asked, it's such a good answer, we don't even know what the Havamin is. So I have a different kasha, which takes us through other sugis and shas, gives shmaka stuff to remind us once in a while about tum and tahara. Not everybody that's part of the shir for a while is very comfortable with these sugis. If you're not part of the shir for a while, you will be very comfortable after today's shir. Eli kasha kasha. Safek mashkin litame. So it goes like this. You have avia v'isatuma. Very, very basic stuff. The biggest, the most tame thing in the world is a dead human being. Avia v'isatuma. And the way tuma works is that if tuma touches something, that something becomes one step less tame. And if that thing touches something else, that becomes one step less. So if avia v'isatuma touches something, a human being, that human being becomes an avatuma. Avia voice becomes an avatuma, one step down into blue. If the avatuma touches, let's say, a vessel or another person, that thing becomes a rishon, one step less. If that rishon touches food, that thing becomes one step less, becomes a sheni. If that sheni touches something else, it could become a shlishi. If that shlishi touches something else, revi. Each thing, it loses power as it goes on. Okay, so we're talking about some things get stuck at a sheni, at a shlishi. Depends. A shlishi typically can't make anything tameh. It itself becomes a shlishi, let's say, but it can't make anything else in the world tameh besides a piece of carbon. That's it. Carbon and a paraduma. So there's something called that it becomes tameh, litame. It could conduct tumah, it could become tameh, but it can't give off tumah. It could receive it, but it can't give it. So the Gemara says, what about liquids? What's the halacha about liquids? Safek mashkin l'tame, tame. If we have a safek whether the liquids were touched by somebody that's tame, we don't know if he touched or not. We saw somebody that's tame walking around there next to the open barrels of liquid. We don't know. So we're going to make it tame. L'tame acherim. But to say that maybe some of that mashke that became tameh, does it have the ability to make other things tameh? No, it doesn't have the ability to make other things tameh. It's tar divrei Rebbe Meir. Why? So when you have a suffix d'oraisa, we go l'chumra. When you have a suffix d'rabbanan, we go l'kula. So what we're saying is, according to Rebbe Meir, to become tameh is midaraisa. So if I have a suffix whether it became tameh, the liquids became tameh, suffix deraisa l'chumra. But to give off, to impart tumah to something else, that's only the Rabbanan. And that's suffix the Rabbanan l'kula. V'chein haya Reb Elazar oimer. This is Reb Elazar. You see, not Reb Eliezer. Reb Elazar. What it says by you, Reb Eliezer?
Never changed.
Yeah, but look at the side. Look at the side. It says on the side. Tzarech ligrois. On the bottom over here, goes with Tzionim, fine. So, doesn't matter. We get the point. Reb Eliezer, Reb Elazar, you know what? Reish Aleph, okay? You got a problem. Fine. Now, that's the Gemara. Is it a fact that Reb Elazar says like Reb Meir that what? To become tamei, a mashke becomes tamei misafek. Not timpartum. But Tanya Reb Elazar Omer ain't tumel mashkim kol ikar. You hear this? Reb Elazar says liquid cannot become tamei. Period. End the story. How do I know this? Teida, I'll prove to you. Shari Hayid Yosef ben Yoezer ish tzreida al ayel kamtza dechan. So ayel kamtza is a type of a grasshopper that looks like a ram. Couldn't find the picture of it. Basically, when you have Yoshi, we'll get Gishmaki pictures like that. Ayel kamtza dechan, telling you that this grasshopper is kosher. So once we mentioned grasshopper, we got to say this. It's a three-part story. First of all, it starts with Reb Chaim Kanievsky. You say that Reb Chaim Kanievsky was learning a sugya about a grasshopper, and he wasn't exactly sure something about the grasshopper, and all of a sudden, a grasshopper came flying through the window, landed on his Gemara. Looked at it, but here's the update to the story. Reb Chaim Kanievsky actually says on video that the story is true, that he saw that it happened to him. Here's the video. Play the video, please.
כן, אבל כמו שאנחנו סומכים לגבי הודו, לא לכולם יש מסורת על תרנגול הודו, ואנחנו סומכים על זה.
יש סיפור שפעם חגב הגיע לשולחן של הרב פעם...
נכון.
אז זה נכון הסיפור הזה? שחגב הגיע...
את העניינים, הגיע חגב שנבדוק אותו.
נו, והרב החזיק אותו.
הסתכלתי איך שהולך שם.
הוא היה טהור.
הם אומרים שיש פה שתי חטא, לא יודע, איזה פסוק.
אוקיי, נכון, הסתכלתי, Yeah. So Reb Eli brings in a sefer that there was a guy that came, they told him the story, and he said, shtusim v'avalim. Ma'am shtusim. He made fun of the story, so he went home, he opens the door, and there's like thousands of grasshoppers in the guy's house. So somebody said that Reb Eli story is mamish shtusim. And he came home and he found 5,000 Olenim Shabachs in his dining room.
There's more to the story.
And there's more to the story.
No, this guy ended up...
It's three parts of the story, yeah?
There's more to the story. The guy eventually moved. What happens, he had to go back to Asmachila from Chaim, otherwise the grasshoppers, they tried to exterminate, nothing more. Eventually, he went back to Chaim to Asmachila,
Yeah.
and then they disappeared, but every Friday, grasshopper would come and land on his windowsill. Every Friday, one grasshopper. They wanted to move eventually. His wife said, how are we going to move? We're going to miss the grasshopper. He said, don't worry, they moved. And every Friday, the new house, grasshopper would land in the windowsill.
I mean, if there was video of that story, there'd be no bchira, you know that. You can't, there would be not a single non-religious person in Israel. If you have, so get the video, yeah, that's it. Mashiach will come.
Inside their homes, remember that story.
Okay, so at least we have different parts of the story. Chaim says that it happened to him. Fine. I had a story. What happened to me also? I was talking about the story and then a grasshopper landed on my thing. What happened? I had in front of you, did you know? Aleinu Shabech landed on my Gemara. I don't remember. Something happened.
A lion landed
Something
in front
happened.
of the table.
I don't remember. You know what? Ba'anova. It didn't. I don't think it happened to me. I'm not sure it happened to me. I don't think it happened to me. They want to say that happened. No.
He says the chicken.
Oh. We were learning, right, very good, Leib, thank you. We were in the Koilo, and we were learning about chickens, about a rooster screaming in the morning, waking people up. So I look at my chavrusa, I said, you know, like the chicken here in the neighborhood that screams. He goes, what chicken are you talking about? I said, the chicken every day he screams. All of a sudden, Mamish, Leiby, put the video on Leiby. I don't know if you could. What? What happened? There is a chicken there, okay, but no. But the story is not about me and the chicken. The story is about my chavrusa not ever hearing the chicken. He's so involved in learning. That's the chashivas of the story. the chicken. Everybody, we all hear the chicken every day. Yeah, okay, fine. Next. Fine. Ayal comes to the Chan. The what? Oi, I don't have the Beis Hamikdash here. I don't know if you could go up there, but I wish I had the chart of the Beis Hamikdash. Okay. Oh, do me a favor. You able to grab that? Don't go around. Yeah, like that. Givaldic. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little fragile. Thank you very much. This doesn't do anything, but okay, fine. I'm saying it's hard to see from over here, but if you know what, you could. If you zoom in right over here, this area, it will fall. No, there'll be a nest. It won't fall. Okay, this area right over here, and then as soon as we're done, then it'll fall. This area right over here. This is where they shech the animal. Oh, I'm going the wrong way here. They shech the animals right over here. This thing over here is the mizbeach. They shech the animals here. They dehydrate the animals. There's a lot of blood going on. This is where the rings are. How many rings? 24 rings. 24 mishmah is 24 rings. You can even see like rings on if the guy really zoomed in. Avremi, I don't know if you could zoom in. You see the rings over there? Okay, good. These guys are rings right over here. Rings that hold the animal down. There's a lot of blood going on there, and they use a hose. They hose off that hose. They a lot of water, a lot of blood, and it could cause a lot of issues. Thank you very much. If the if liquids would actually conduct tumah, so everything would be a problem there. Any animal you bring in there will become tummy, touching all these liquids. It's a mess over there. So what do they say? They say all the liquids in the Beis Hamikdash tahar. Now how can you do that? If midayraisa, this tumah to liquids, you can't do that. So obviously he holds liquids don't conduct tumah at all. It happens to be, it's interesting that in Avodah Zarah, the Gemara says, I don't remember what daf, it says over there that Yosef and Eliezer, they called him the rabbi that's Mekel. I forgot the lashon over there, Sharia, something, Rabbi the Sharia, because of this. Because he said, Dachen, two halachas, he said, kosher, he's a Mekel. Fine, he got a nickname that he's a Rav that's Mekel. Huh? Zog the Gemara, fine, but so let's go a little deeper into it. What does it mean over there that the mashka is tahar? It doesn't have tumah. If you say that it means that it doesn't have tumah to make something else tameh, great. If you say that it does become tameh, just it doesn't have the ability to give over tumah to other things. And we said in the Beis Hamikdash, we're not going to be machmer over here in the Beis Hamikdash. We have to be mekel, but the bottom line is it becomes tummy. Okay, everything is good. But according to Rav that says that the liquids don't become tummy at all, forget about imparting tumah. They themselves don't become tummy. Michael and Meimar. Okay, so you can't say that Reb Elazar holds like that the mashkim are tameh. Says the Gemara, Elaha. So we have a problem here. Again, let's go back to the beginning of the sugya. Our Mishnah says Stam Nedarim lahachmir, and we have a Mishnah that says Safek Nazirus lahakil. Which one is it? Elaha Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds by Nazirus we're going to be mekel. Vaha Reb Shimon, and when it comes to our Mishnah, Stam Nedarim lahachmir goes according to Reb Shimon. Where's the machlokes? Sanya areni nozim yesh bakri hazeh meyakur. Person says, I'll become a nazir if we find out the amount of wheat in the pile over here. If it has 100. The pile disappeared. I don't know if you need the whole pile. Or maybe part of the pile. The point is, I have no way to count now. I'm only becoming a nazir if there's 100 pounds over here. I don't know. It's not 100. Somebody he ripped it off. Reb Yehuda Matir, Reb Shimon, Oyser. So over here we have a suffix. And Reb Yehuda, when it comes to a naziros and a suffix, was there 100 or not 100? I'll never find out. Reb Yehuda says, okay, we're going to go Lakula. That's the Mishnah in naziros about a nazir. And Reb Shimon says, no, Aser. When it comes to stealing, We had a very similar shiloh before, but I got to tell you the shiloh because it's shocking. There was a guy, of course, I'll tell you the story, you'll tell me exactly what sefer it's in. There's a guy that comes out of a bakery Erev Shavuos with a bag of cheesecake. Come over to him, two gentlemen, they say, listen, we have a pile of money right here. You see this money? Yeah. We have an argument how much it is. He says, do us a favor. You count it, whatever you say, that's what we'll do. So the guy puts his bag on the floor and he starts counting. They grab the bag of cheesecake and they run. They make it. What happened was they thought that the bag was full of money. So they decided to make a little investment. They give him a pile of money. Okay, it was a few $1,000s, whatever. There's a 200 on the top and 100 on that. But they thought they're going to get, $100,000 worth of cash. They made a run for it. So the shaila is, who did they ask Reb Eli? Shaila is, does the guy have to give back the money? No. What's the halacha? What do you say? Give it to him. It's a trick. You take this and we take your bag and we run. We steal from you.
They bought his cheesecake. What do you mean? They bought his cheesecake.
What? Right. So of course he says that it's hefker b'tos and he has to give back the money. I thought it's I don't know. Okay. I'm sure that people are arguing that.
You don't want to take money from people like that. You don't want to deal with that.
Okay, that's what he says. Anyway, we had the same shiloh with the taxi, remember? The guy was like looking for his wallet and then he said, let me go get you money. Oh, the guy had a wallet full of money and he dropped it in the taxi. And he tells the taxi driver, I can't find my wallet. I don't know, he's looking everywhere. So he says, let me go into my house and get you the 20 shekel. So the taxi took off because he thought that there's a wallet inside the car. Meanwhile, the guy never had a wallet. He was lying to him. He thought, let me check. Maybe the guy will run away without me paying because he thinks there's a wallet. So the shaila is, does he have to pay for the taxi ride or not? Kitzer, get off him. Fine. Huh? Yeah. How do you steal? All these tricks. Don't try it at home. Says the Gemara. Virami the Reb Yehuda, we have a contradiction with Reb Yehuda. Mi omer Reb Yehuda, does Reb Yehuda say when it comes to Nazirus, again, a person says, if there's 100 in this pile, I become a Nazir, and Reb Yehuda says, I can never find out, so I never intended to become a Nazir. Is that true? Vermini Reb Yehuda Omer Stam Truma B'Yehuda Asura. If a person says the word Truma, and he lives in Yehuda, he's probably referring to the Trumas Halishka. It could be. There's a good 50% chance, because he lives so close to Beis HaMikdash, he's referring to that Truma, and that Truma, if you use that Lashon, it makes the neder, it's a good neder, because if you use a regular Truma, that we are Mafresh Truma, it's not a good neder. It doesn't work in Golol. So the Gemara is medayik, taimo de imakirin. Why is it not a good? So we're going from the diuk. The Ran says why do you have to go from the diuk? The Mishnah talks about it deliberately. Okay, fine. Taimo de imakirin. At the end of the day, we're making a diuk. It's because in Golol they don't use that lashon. Not the imakim. They don't know. Everybody knows the truth. They don't use the word truma loosely. They use it for one thing only: truma of food, not truma of trumas halishka. Taimo de imakirin. Oh, makirin, asurin, asur. Why? So you see that according to Rabbi Yehuda, a person puts himself into a suffix in the zeros. Even if they, in Golol, they know, they use the word truma. It's still a 50-50. And in 50-50, he says, you still become a Nazir. We just turned to your Testament base, zchus, to continue being able to support Torah and to finish Shas with Reb Eli. Refuah Shlaima Boruch ben Sarah. It is Bas Mindel. Latzlachas ben Yamin, ben Ita Yehudas. Omar Rava. Gabi Kri, Kosova Kolsha Sveika Chomer, Mevadai, Loi Ma'ayil Nafshei L'Sveika. Very, very simple. What's going to happen here? A Nazir looks at a pile of wheat and he says, if there's 100 here, I'm becoming a Nazir. Comes a Ganav, takes all the wheat away. Now I have no way to figure out how much wheat was in the pile. That suffix is worse than knowing for sure. And when your suffix is worse than for sure, then you don't become a Nazir. Why? If a person knows for a fact that he's a Nazir, so he goes through the whole process. He has a way out of it. you can't put a person in a predicament that he can never get out of it. If a guy is a nazir, 30 days, he does this in the zeros, at the end of 30 days, or whatever the term is, he's finished, done. He brings 3 korbanos and he shaves his head, and he's done. Guy that's a suffix, this suffix guy, he can never get out of it. If you tell him that he's a nazir, then he's a nazir for the rest of his life. Why? Because what is he supposed to do? You cannot bring a carbon chatas into the Beis Hamikdash if you don't know for sure that you need a chatas. You can bring a ayla and make it a nedava. You can bring a shlamim as a nedava, but you cannot bring the carbon chatas. And since he can't bring the carbon chatas, he has no way out of his zeros. I hear. Had I known that I can't get out of it, I wouldn't have done it. Interesting. Very interesting. He's asking, you should do afar. I hear. The Ran just says, at the end of the day, can't you just bring one carbon, as we learned, and be megalech on that one carbon? Bring a shlam and be megalech, and you get out of your zeros. So the Ran says, but l'maisa, it's not l'chatchila to do it like that. Okay, so since it's not l'chatchila, it shouldn't work at all. Omar, your answer is good on a regular nazir. A regular nazir is going to be stuck forever. And we don't want him to be stuck forever. He only did nazirs for 30 days. But what if he was a nazir forever? What if that is exactly what he said? He said, I'm going to be a nazir forever. So now his suffix is now worse. There's no chumrah in his suffix. He wanted to be a nazir forever, and he's going to remain a nazir forever with the suffix. If this suffix makes it worse for him, he was supposed to be a nazir for 30 days, and now you're making him a nazir forever and ever. Imagine, as it grows here all the way to the ground, that's not right. The suffix should be worse than a... it reminds me actually that there's a person who has an averim suffix. Averim suffix is worse than averim vada. In other words, if a person knows that he did an averim, he's mechal Shabbos. So he brings a simple carbon, chatas. It doesn't matter how much it costs, a ma. It costs a ma. But if a person does an avera misafik, he doesn't know if he did an avera or not, then we make him buy a really expensive carbon of 2 sela. Why? Because when a person does an avera vadai, then he does tshuva vadai. He knows he did an avera, he does tshuva, he cries over it, he's not going to do it again. Somebody that has a suffix, he's not so sure, he's not doing real tshuva. So we want him to do real tshuva, we make him pay. Okay, idea of sometimes suffix is worse than a vadai. Says the Gemara, your answer doesn't work on a guy that says, I'll be a nazir forever. Yes, there is a reason why it should be worse. If a person says, I'll be a nazir forever, imagine, forever, it's terrible. 10 years in, his hair is, he looks crazy. So we say, okay, take a razor blade. Don't take a haircut machine. Take a razor blade. Start cutting. It's painful, but cut slowly. Go, and then you have to bring your korbanos, like a regular nazir would bring. At least you get some sort of haircut. You have somewhere. When it comes to the suffix, he can't. Omar. So, but what about Arini Nazir Shimshon? But there is a case where a guy can never cut his hair, even with a tar, even in this kula. And that's if a guy says, I want to be a nazir like Shimshon. Happens to be interesting. Someone says, I'm a nazir like Shimshon, just as Shalom Aleichem, I didn't notice you. How you doing, Tzadik? What's your name? So, from where? Shalom Aleichem. Sorry, didn't notice all the guests. So, if a person says that he's a nazir Shimshon, there's one thing he could do. Does anybody know what he could do? Anybody? Leibi. What could a nazir Shimshon do that a regular nazir can't? There's one kula. One kula, no? He can become tamei. He become tamei. Remember that. Nazir Shimshon can never touch his hair, even with a razor, but he could become tamei. He could go to the Levites. Only nazir Shimshon. So at the end of the day, your whole teretz is based on that a suffix is worse than a vadai. Here I have a case of a guy that's a suffix nazir Shimshon. He's not worse than a vadai. If he was a vadai nazir Shimshon, he can never touch his hair. And if he's a suffix nazir Shimshon, he can never touch his hair. Nothing It's not worse to be a suffix than a vada in this case. It's not one of the things that we're talking about. So in other words, it is in the case that what? A guy looks at a pile of wheat and he says, if there's 100 over here, I'll become a Nazir Shimshon. It's in the Brisa, Mefurish. I'll become a Nazir Shimshon, not Nazir Shimshon. So you see it is in there, and so therefore you can't answer your answer. Amalei, Tanya. Okay, if that's the case, I have no way out of it. You're right. Rav Ashi Omar, Ahi, Rabbi Yehuda, Mishum Reb Tarfani. This whole thing of Nazir Shimshon is not Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, he's only repeating over from Rabbi Tarfan. What? The Sanya, Rabbi Yehuda, Mishum Reb Tarfani. We're very familiar.
You're saying practically you can't have that.
What?
You can't be another Shimshon practically.
Why?
Shimshon came out of Shlomo, that's all.
No, you could say Nazir Shimshon. I don't think, why? There's such a thing called Nazir Shimshon. I want to become a Nazir like Shimshon. Now, it says like this. There's a case where there's two friends schmoozing, and a guy with very long hair, let's say, walks by. So one friend looks at the other and says, listen, if that guy is a Nazir, I'm becoming a Nazir. So the other guy says, you know what? I'll take the reverse bet. If that guy's not a Nazir, I'll become a Nazir. So if you're looking at it, one of them is 100% going to be a Nazir, right? Wrong. Neither of them are a Nazir. Why? That's the halach that we learned before. According to Reb Tarfon, neither of them are a Nazir. Look at the pasuk. Ish or isha ki yafli. That's an interesting picture. Look at the screen, Rabbi Isai. I don't know why. Ki yafli lindor neder nozla hazl Hashem. It's you saw what happened over there? Okay. So it says ki yafli. You have to know for certain hafla. So Mela. So the Brisa that talks about a regular Nazirus, or let's say even Nazirus Olam, I'm a Nazir forever. He didn't say Shimshon. Olam. So Rabbi is going to say he's not a Nazir. You know why? Because in that case, like we said, the suffix becomes worse than the Vadai. And then when the suffix becomes worse than the Vadai, he's not a Nazir. He's not going to subject himself to something like that. But by Nazirus Shimshon, since the suffix is not worse than the Vadai, then he does become a Nazir. But what about suffix Nedarim? Suffix Nedarim, like the Mishnah says, L'chumra. When it comes to suffix Nazir, so we're saying suffix cannot be worse than a Vadai, so we're going L'kula. But suffix Nedarim L'chumra. That's the answer the Gemara is saying. There's a difference between, hold on, the difference between Nedarim and Nazirus. Yachi. So the Gemara has a Bam Kasha. If a person looks at a pile of wheat and he says, if there's 100 in this pile of wheat, I'm becoming a Nazir. And it was stolen. Who cares if it was stolen or not? You don't become a Nazir because you don't know what's in the pile. Hafla means you have to know exactly what's going on. The guy that's walking by, you ask him, are you a Nazir? And he tells you, yes, I'm a Nazir. You're still not a Nazir. Why? Because when you said the words, I am a Nazir, if he's a Nazir, you didn't know if he was a Nazir. You found out 25 seconds later that he is a Nazir. Too late. At the time that you do, you have to know. So with the pile, you have to know how much is in the pile. And if they take the pile away, don't take the pile away, it's not important. So the Gemara says, you're right. Even though it was stolen or lost, a person, we should stop here. We could get to the Mishnah. Chaval. We're machmer here. Even though it was stolen, even in that case, Reb Shimon holds that it becomes a Nazir. Rabbi, I just want to point out here, tomorrow, certain parents might want to leave their kids at home. It's a very explicit sugya tomorrow. So I'm giving a warning for parents. If people are machmer on that, Hasidim and different parents, you should just know. Zog the Gemara, Reb Yehuda Omer, Stam Truma Bihuda. So we did this yesterday, so we'll go through it quickly. The Mishnah says that when a person says the word Truma, if he lives next to Yerushalayim, he might be referring to the Lishka, Trumas HaLishka, and therefore it's a good neder. But if he lives in other places, they don't really refer to Truma as Trumas Nalishka, so it's not a good neder. Why? Because Truma is done midaraisa. It happens by itself. It's a neder. It's not a davar another. It's davar aser. Says Gemara, ha makirin. But if they know the word, they use the word asurim. So in other words, if it's a 50-50, this word can mean Trumas Alishka, it can mean Truma of food. 50-50. What do I do with a 50-50? I go and I say it's aser. I'm machmer. Almas fegel chumra. Ema seifa. What about the end of the Mishnah? Stam charam v'yuda mutarim. Ubegalil asurim. Stam is aser in galil. Sheinancha galil makirim zchariya kohanim. Ha makirim, if it's 50-50, it could go both ways in galil. Mutarim. I go lahakil, not lachmer. Almas fegel kula. So which one is it? So therefore, says the Gemara, Mabaya, Sefer, Reb Tzadiki, it's a different Tana. In other words, the Gemara is saying you don't have to talk about Charamim. The Machlokes could be in Truma. According to Reb Tzaddik, I go Lekula. According to Tanakama, I go Lechumra. We just happen to bring another case of Charamim because that's where he learned that his Rebbe taught him in Charamim. Sefer Reb Tzaddik, the sign of Reb Yehuda Omer, Stam Truma B'Yehuda Asura, Reb Tzaddik Omer, Stam Charamim Begalil. Asurin. Huh? What? What do you mean? Stam is asur, but if it's 50-50, it's mutter. That's the kula. 50-50. What's asur? Where are you reading? Stam Truma B'Yehuda Asura. Right. He's talking about Truma and he's talking about Charam, but it's the same exact thing. Oh, yeah. I don't know.